Hey smart people, Toby Salami here. If you are from the future and I'm from the past, that is fine. Your current date is only a number. Mine is the 1st of January 2025. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can query posts based on specific complex date queries. For example, you may need to get posts that are published today, or posts that are coming tomorrow, or posts that were published 7 days ago, or posts in the current week, or even posts that were published or will be published in the next 30 days. You can get posts in the current month, current year, last year, and even if you want to get posts on a specific day of the week. Now, no matter when you watch this video, the principles here will still apply to you. I need you to do two things. One, subscribe to this YouTube channel so you don't miss another video just like this. And two, stick around till the end of this video because you are sure to learn a thing or two. Without further ado, let's speed through all of these examples right now. What you need to have is a page builder that supports JetEngine. Now, we're going to look at the various examples as I showed you at the beginning of this video, and we're just going to go rapidly to build them out. Let's start from the very first one. But before that, let me show you how I currently have set things up. If we come inside of posts, you see all of the posts that I have on the site. As you can see here, you see you have some posts as scheduled. For example, this one is scheduled to be published on the 30th of June 2025, and that's okay. You see some other posts here are already published. For example, you see this one here is on the 1st of January 2025. It was published exactly today because that is today's date. You can see it right here. I have the current dates fetched, and that's January 1, 2025. Whenever you're watching this, doesn't really matter. The principle will always remain the same. Now, I have other things previously set up. For example, I have this listing I have already built here. It's just a simple listing with the post title and also fetching the post dates. As simple as that. I also have that brought inside of here using a listing grid right here. And that's okay. Now we just need to go through all of them and quickly build out the queries that match the conditions shown in each of these headings. Let's start from the very first one. We need to query posts that are published today. And to do that, let's do that very quickly. We just want to come back here. We're going to close this out and create a new query. The query now, we're going to call it query of posts published today, and that should be all right. So we're going to write that out, query of posts published today. And we're going to come down here to query type. It's post, and that's okay. We're going to come down here to where we have the post type, and we're going to select posts. Okay. We're also going to select that the post status is published because we're looking for posts that are published today. And today is January 1, 2025. Now, all you need to do is to come inside of date query here and click on add new. Now, inside of here, you just need to type in day, you need to write 1, and in month, you need to write 1, and in year, you need to write 2025. Oh, I'm just joking. How do you do things as manually as this? It doesn't make any sense. Cancel that out. We want to remove that. And we want to set this dynamically because today will not always remain the 1st of January 2025, right? So let's make this work very smartly. We're going to come down here to where we have after, and we're going to say after today. So that's what we're going to write here. We're going to write after today, like that. In fact, let's come here to preview results and toggle that on. And as you can see here, after today returns today, the 1st of January 2025. It returns that for us from the database. And these very simply queries are stuff for us. So we can come to the top now and toggle off preview results and add our query. Now we have a query of posts published today. Let's put that inside of here. We're going to select the query here, the listing grid here, and we're going to come down here to custom query and select that query for ourselves. So query of posts published today. And that's it. Done. We move on to the next one. The next one is posts coming tomorrow. So let's just duplicate this and drag that inside of here. Okay, now let's fetch posts coming tomorrow. Do we have posts in the database that are coming tomorrow? We do. I made sure of it before I started recording this video, but now we need to query them. So let's just come back inside of the query here and build ourselves a new query. The query now would be a query of posts published tomorrow. As we did before, we're going to come down here to post type and select post. Inside of post status, this is where it gets a little tricky. Instead of selecting published, we want to select future because it's not published just yet. And by WordPress definition of future post, it's known as future in post status. So after selecting that, we're almost good to go. We just need to come to preview result and toggle it on. Let's see what we have now. we have certain posts. For example, we have one from the 30th of June, 2025. That's way into the future. We have another one, if we scroll down, on the 30th of January, 2025. And that's way into the future too. We just need posts scheduled for tomorrow. In that case, let's change the name because I wonder why I call that published tomorrow. So let's change that to scheduled tomorrow. Okay. Now let's come down here to date query. Inside of date query, we want to add a query clause. So we can simply write here in the before tomorrow. Okay. And because tomorrow is a day that starts at 00:00, it wouldn't capture posts that are published later than that time. So all posts that are after 12 a.m. tomorrow will not be captured because we specified here in the before that it should only capture posts that are before tomorrow. So it's going to get posts that are published, for example, today. And there is no such posts that are scheduled for today. So in order to make this work, we just need to type in here 23, which is the hours, and we need to specify the minutes, 59 minutes and 59 seconds. So what we're saying inside of here is that all of the posts before tomorrow at 23:59:59, which is 11:59 p.m. tomorrow, all of the posts before then, which are scheduled, that's in the future, should be queried. Now, that's what we have here. You have the post date from the 2nd of January here, which is tomorrow, technically, at 12:28. You have another one from tomorrow still, but at 11:08. And it makes complete sense this way. Now, once you're done with this, you want to come up here, toggle off preview results, and add the new query. Now you have a new query, and let's apply it in our front end. Now, after refreshing the editor, all I need to do is come inside of here, and for coming tomorrow, I want to select that query. Just want to select the query here, query of posts coming tomorrow, and you can see those two posts right there. Now we want to query posts that were published 7 days ago. Let's duplicate this listing grid and put it inside of here. That's okay. Now we're going to come back inside of Query Builder and build a new query. Inside of query, we're going to add a new query to query post published 7 days ago. So let's add a new query. Query is going to say posts published 7 days ago. Now, how do we do that? We want to come down here to post type. So again, select posts. Inside of post status, you want to select published. Come inside of the date query and add a new query. Now, 7 days ago, today minus 7 days. And that will give you the first day constituting 7 days ago, right? So we can simply type that inside of after here by writing inside of here, today minus 7 days. So that's literally 7 days ago. So inside of preview results, we just want to check that now. So we have all the posts published 7 days ago. You can see it here inside of post date. You have today and you have another date here, which is the 30th of December. And you have another date here, which is the 28th of December, 2024. And all of that is within 7 days ago. And that makes complete sense. We're ready to publish that query. Now apply it to the front end. So let's go into the editor, select that particular listing after refreshing, of course, and want to come to custom query and select post published 7 days ago. Now we have that. Clean. We move on now to the next one. And this time we want to query posts that were published in the current week. So we're not just saying that the post should be 7 days ago. We're saying that the post should be published this week. Let's do that. Let's come back here inside of Query Builder and add a new query. Now this query is going to say post published this week, of course. Now down here, you're going to have post type as post, of course. And inside of post status, you want to, of course, select publish. Now inside of date query, you want to come here and add a new date query clause. Let's, of course, preview results so we can see what we're fetching. And we want to come down here to date query clauses and specify here that it should be, of course, remember, we want to fetch something in the current week. We want to say that it should be after and write in here this week, just like that. And it makes complete sense because as you can see here, today's date, which is the 1st of January, 2025 is fetched. And also you have another post here down here, which is the 30th of December, 2024, which is also within this week. The 30th of December is on Monday, and that constitutes this week. We have our post queried. We just want to come up here, toggle off preview results, and add a new query. Now, after refreshing the editor, we're going to come inside of there, select the concerned dates. This is current week. We want to select that, come to custom query and select the query we just created. So post published this week returns these two dates, the first today and the 30th of December, all of which are within this current week. Now we want to query posts that are published within the next 30 days or are scheduled to be published within the next 30 days. So let's just create a query for that. I'm going to come inside Query Builder and again, we're going to create a new query. This query is going to be for posts published within the next 30 days. Let's write that. Posts published within the next 30 days. Now, again, we want to come down here to post type, select our post type, and inside of posts, we want to select future because it's, of course, within the next 30 days. So it's in the future. Next, we want to come inside of our date query and specify that it's between now and the next 30 days. So in other words, it's before the next 30 days, right? So we're going to select from the before field here, the today, and say plus 30 and write days. So we're saying today plus 30 days. And so within this period, this is the limit for the post to be retrieved. We can see here that we have posts scheduled for the 30th of January 2025. You see another one down here for the 28th of January 2025. We see a third one down here for the 26th of January 2025. And it just helps you understand this is querying post within the next 30 days. Awesome. Now you want to toggle off preview results, add query, and come to the front end and add that query to your listing. After refreshing the editor, we want to come inside of here, select that particular listing, and just change the custom query to what we just created. So in the next 30 days, these are all of the posts we have to be published. Now, we're on to our next one, which is to query posts in the current month. So let's do that. Let's come back inside and add a new query. The query, of course, we'll call it posts scheduled or published for this month. Down here, we want to select inside of post type, we want to select post. Inside of post status, we want to select both published and future. So whether or not they're published yet, we want to select both of them. And we want to come inside here to date query and specify that. So we're going to specify that it should be after this month. So when we write here this month, we're going to select here the preview results and see what we have. As you can see here, you have posts that are scheduled to be published on the 30th of June 2025, which technically is right because we're saying it should be after this month. So we don't expect to see any posts before this month, right? It makes complete sense. This is this month and that's okay. Now in the before, we're going to specify that it should be before the last minute and second of the last day of this month. To do that is very simple. We're just going to type in here, last day of this month. And we're going to further drill that down. As you can see, you no longer have that date here. The June date is no longer there because it's not within this month. And you want to specify that. Specifying before the last day of this month, that's January 31st, will mean that all of the posts on the 31st of January at different times on that day will not show up because they're technically after the last day of the month. So in order to specify that that should also be included, the last day of the month should also be included, you need to extend this date by just simply typing in 23 hours and you want to specify 59 minutes and also 59 seconds. So the last day of the month will also be included in this calculation if it does exist. It doesn't exist in this case. The last post here is on the 30th of January. So that's it. Now you can come to preview results, toggle that off and add the new query. Let's, of course, after refreshing the editor, go and add the query to it. Let us now select it and come down here to where we have current month. And we want to select custom query and just select the query we just created. Now, these are posts that are scheduled to be published this month. It makes complete sense. We move on now to the next one. We want to get posts that are published in the current year or maybe scheduled to be published in the current year. It's our choice. We just need to specify that inside of our query. So let's create a new query. Query posts that are scheduled or published in the current year. Now, as always, you want to come down here to post type and select the post type of your choice. Inside of post status, you want to select published and also future because that's what we need to select in this particular case. And we want to come inside of date query here and add a new query. Now, inside of the after, we want to specify that it should be within the current year. So inside of after, we just want to type this year, just like that, correctly spelled. If you don't spell it correctly, it will not show up. So we want to toggle that on. And as you can see now, you have post published this year. This is the 30th of June, 2025. When you come down here, you see the 30th of January, 2025, and so on. Now we're done. That's pretty much it. We're just going to toggle off preview result, add a new query, and go ahead to add that inside of our editor after refreshing it, of course. So let's go there. We'll select the editor, select the particular listing, current year. Want to come down here to custom query and select that query we just created. Now let's move on to the next one. We want to query posts that are published only last year. So let's just copy and paste this inside of here. We want to build our query for posts that are published or were published in the last year. Add a new query and select and add a name. Query of posts in the last year. Now down here, as always, you want to select the post type, select posts, and inside of here, you want to select the post status as published, and also come down here to date query and also add a new date query clause. Now inside of after, you want to type in last year. Now the idea is just to get all of the posts that were published last year. And because we wrote last year, it's of course going to return posts that were published this year, because after last year is this year, technically. So we need to define a constraint here. We want to say that it should be after last year, of course, it's okay. But we also want to specify that it should be before this year. So let's specify that. We just want to type in this year. And specifying that alone is not enough. So we want to say this year at a particular time. So let's select that time. We're going to say this year at 000000. So it's going to be, of course, before the midnights of January 1 this year. As you can see here, you no longer have January's date as you had before. Let's take it out just so you can see it. If we take that out, you notice here that you have the date here in January 1. And if you put that back in, you see you no longer have January 1 returned inside of this query. This is good. We can come up here now and toggle off preview result and add that inside of our editor. So let's do that. We come inside of our editor here, select that particular listing, select the custom query, and select the query we just created. The query of posts in the last year. As you can see, those are all of the posts from 2024 because we're currently in 2025. Okay, let's deal with the very last one, which is query of Thursday weekly specials. This, however fancy the name sounds, just simply means we want to query all posts that were published on Thursday this week. Let's do that. We want to come inside of the query builder and create a new query. So we call it query of posts published on Thursday this week. Now we want to come down here to where we have post type and select post again. Now inside of post status, of course, publish post. And we want to come down here to where we have the date query. And this is where it gets very important. You want to select that it should be after, and you want to write Thursday this week. And inside of the before, you want to say it's still Thursday this week, but at 23:59:59. Of course, 23 hours at 59 minutes and 59 seconds. Just like that. And if you come up here now and toggle on preview results, you see you have nothing returned. And that's just because if you look at my calendar, today is actually the 1st of January, 2025, and it's actually a Wednesday and not a Thursday. And it makes complete, absolute sense. So to get it to show the post that is scheduled for Thursday, we need to add, of course, and include the post status of future, because that's, of course, tomorrow. As you can see now inside of the results count here, you have posts scheduled for tomorrow, which is the 2nd of January, which also happens coincidentally to be a Thursday. So it's technically returning all of the posts that are scheduled to be published on Thursday this week. Now you can come back inside of the editor and simply select that listing, come to custom query and select the query we just created. Now these are the posts scheduled to be released on Thursday this week. Now these are various circumstances, various ways you can make use of the dates query inside of Query Builder. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. As always, my name is Toby Salami. Stay updated by subscribing to this YouTube channel, and until next time, my people, stay dynamic.